Here's more wrestling news for April 6, 2023, and we are kicking off with Gable Steveson, who since signing with WWE close to 2 years ago, has yet to have an official match for the promotion. Instead, Steveson's one and only offensive maneuver on TV saw him perform a suplex at WrestleMania 38, but this long waiting period has gotten to the Olympian. On Twitter, Steveson fired off a post reading, "Just wanna wrestle," and vented his frustrations before deleting his tweet. It has been reported in the past that WWE had plans to fast-track him to the main roster, but those plans were nixed as he wasn't showing significant improvement during his training. Steveson recently stated that he hopes to become a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and compete in Paris next year, and if he goes ahead with this, it'll put the brakes on any plans for him in WWE. We'll have to see what happens with Steveson, but it appears that his WWE career may have ended before it even began, and time will tell where he fits in the McMahon Endeavor era. At WrestleMania 39, Bobby Lashley didn't have a match, but did appear on the stage to show off his recently won Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. After missing out on a Mania match, Lashley was back in action on Raw where he decimated Mustafa Ali, but a much different superstar was teased as the Almighty's next feud. During the show, it was hinted that Bronson Reed and Lashley will be going at it in due time, but now a tweet by the former NXT North American champion has raised some eyebrows. In a cryptic post, Reed called himself an outsider and remembers those who accepted him, and it's been debated whether this is just part of his character or something else. Reed, who was on the cusp of a main roster call-up in 2021, was cut from NXT that year, and at the time, it was known that Vince McMahon simply didn't see him as someone who'd work on the main roster. Sources have indicated that while Reed is pleased to be on a WWE paycheck again, he has expressed his frustrations with his booking or lack thereof since his return, and feels like he's wasting the best years of his career. Lashley is also said to be frustrated, specifically over how his WrestleMania situation was handled, though he doesn't blame WWE or Bray Wyatt for the latter's illness. What he is angry about, though, is that Vince McMahon changed the Mania plans for him, as originally he was going to be part of an impromptu match with LA Knight before Vince McMahon flipped the script. Knowing that Vince taking control over creative is inevitable, Lashley has reportedly requested his release from WWE and told Triple H as much backstage during this week's Raw. A lengthy discussion between the two took place, and while we don't know what exactly was said, we can presume that Triple H doesn't want the former 2-time WWE champion going anywhere else. It's entirely possible that Reed's feud with Lashley is the game's attempt to smooth things over with both men, but that all hinges on both Reed and the Almighty sticking with the company. As we previously reported, WWE superstars have said that they are prepared to walk out if these scenes with McMahon backstage at this week's Raw continue, and what do you make of this? Are you excited for Reed versus Lashley, or do you think Bobby should walk away? Sound off in the comments. At WrestleMania, Dominik Mysterio tried to finish off his father for good, but the Judgment Day member also targeted the members of his family sat at ringside. During the match, Dominik got in his sister's face and threw a drink on her, and that may be a sign of things to come. As we saw on Raw, the feud between Dominik and Ray is not over, as after Bad Bunny got involved, Damian Priest slammed the Grammy Award winner through a table on the show. WWE will likely host a tag team match at WWE Backlash in Puerto Rico, which will see Dom and Priest face Ray and Bunny, but there are reports of this personal feud going even further. According to sources, one idea pitched to give this storyline some extra salt and pepper is for Dominik to attack his own sister, which will encourage Ray to accept a rematch against his son. While intergender attacks are not usually seen in the company, Dominik's heel status can be solidified by attacking his sister, and there's been a pitch that Rhea Ripley could destroy Aaliyah on Dominik's behalf to avoid showing intergender violence. If WWE goes ahead with this, then the match at Backlash could become even more personal than what we saw at WrestleMania, and it wouldn't be a surprise to see a stipulation be added. Dominik himself has already spoken about working more with his sister and their family, as he told the Ringer Wrestling Show, "Hopefully I get to do some more stuff where I get to torture them. It's a blast. I had to put up with a lot of crap growing up, so it's fun to return the favor." Speaking about the spot at WrestleMania, Dom added, "Even at WrestleMania, I didn't know I was going to throw a drink at my sister. I walked down and saw her holding a cup and thought, this dumbass is holding a cup. I grabbed it, I was going to drink it, I saw that there was a little bit of water and said, that's just a little bit. so I figured I would throw it on her. That was a blast. Looking back at it now, I threw it with some force. She didn't expect it at all. It's a lot of fun. Dominik's heel turn at Clash at the Castle has done wonders for his career, as he is now one of the most loathed men in WWE today. But things could be taken to the next level on the road to Backlash. Over the past couple of years, WWE has cut a lot of names, both from their on-screen roster and from their corporate offices. In January, Adam Hopkins, a 25-year veteran of the company, was cut, which came as a shock to those in WWE, and he's now found a new home with All Elite Wrestling. PW Insider reports that Hopkins has been hired by AEW and that he will start his new job soon, but his exact job title is currently unknown. It is predicted that Hopkins will be working on the PR side of things, helping AEW to grow its public image and become better known, as this is similar to what he did in WWE for so many years. In WWE, Hopkins rose to the role of Vice President of Communications and was a large part in taking WWE from this little wrestling thing only fans cared about to a mainstream juggernaut of entertainment, and it remains to be seen what he does in AEW. At ROH Supercard of Honor, Brian Cage, as part of the Embassy, defended the six-man tag team titles despite not being under contract with the promotion. Cage's deal had expired with AEW ROH at midnight after Supercard of Honor, and we now know more about his future. Fightful Select confirmed this week that despite being an ROH six-man tag team champion, Cage is a free agent and is able to compete or sign with any other company if he chooses to. They report, Fightful Select has learned that Brian Cage's agreement to work with AEW ROH expired at midnight following ROH Supercard of Honor. Originally, his deal was set to be up before that, but he agreed to work through the show. All Elite Wrestling not only has a long-term contract on the table for Cage, but we're told that there were attempts at a short-term extension to discuss a longer-term contract. When Fightful asked Tony Khan after Supercard of Honor, he stated that he wanted Brian Cage to remain with AEW for a long time. We're told that productive conversations have occurred between the two sides, and conversations are ongoing. It was also noted that there have been attempts from ROH AEW to extend Cage's deal due to injury time, as he was sidelined when they first signed him, but Cage pushed back on that. Fightful adds that there were powerful names in AEW who wanted Cage to re-sign, but there were powerful members of the WWE roster who hoped he would jump ship. Brian Cage has been on WWE's radar for some time, and while there was a period where it looked like Triple H would win him over, especially given how unhappy Cage was with his AEW booking, it now looks like he could be staying with Tony Khan after all. Last September, Saraya made her debut in AEW months after WWE opted not to renew her deal, and her first promo in the company got a lot of attention, but not for the right reasons. During her promo, Saraya spoke about Tony Khan, saying, "Finally a boss that listens to me," and many took this as a sign that she was being ungrateful at WWE. Speaking on Busted Open Radio this week, Saraya said that she regretted the line, which she considers low-hanging fruit, and other than that dig, has always spoken highly of WWE and AEW. Saraya added that she believes that the line caused unnecessary tribalism and negative reactions, and added, "I was so mortified by the promo myself that I actually second-guessed coming back altogether. Did I just make a mistake? Did I make myself look so awful? People like Dean Malenko were like, you went out there, you said on the microphone that you were nervous. I really was. I was terrified. I've never been so terrified in my career. Even when I debuted, won different championships, I was terrified, but not as terrified as coming back after 5 years, going to a different company in front of a new group of fans, in front of all these people watching you, and they want to see you fail or do good. There was a lot of eyes. One thing I do wish I didn't say, I got asked to say a certain sentence, the sentence where I was like, finally a boss that listens to me. I wish I didn't take that low-hanging fruit. I've always spoke highly of WWE because they helped me a lot. I love AEW, there's no reason to take that low-hanging fruit, and I feel that I caused a lot of tribalism and negative reaction. There are some things you wish you didn't say, and that's one of them. I feel it would have gone smoother if I wouldn't have said that. I understand why people were mad, but I'm playing a character. Be quiet." Saraya has spoken very highly of WWE since her departure, and even expressed her delight at getting to be covered for the A&E biography series, but for some fans, all they'll care about is that one line from her AEW debut promo. Jeff Hardy has been away from AEW programming for almost a year now thanks to his DUI arrest in June of last year. While the case against the charismatic Enigma has since been dropped, there's been no sighting of Jeff on AEW TV, but fans did recently get a glimpse of the former world champion. On Twitter, a fan shared a selfie with Jeff, revealing that he bumped into Hardy while vacationing and said that Jeff could not have been more generous or likable. The fan also revealed that Hardy had just undergone eye surgery, which explains why one of his eyes is bloodshot, but details about the surgery and the reason for it are unknown. Tony Khan said last year that Jeff will not be allowed back on AEW programming unless he can prove his long-term sobriety, but for now, we're wishing Hardy a speedy recovery after this recent surgery. With Vince McMahon returning to WWE as executive chairman, the wrestling landscape has been rocked, and there's been a ton of questions as to the future of the company. As we've seen for a year or so now, AEW World Champion MJF has teased joining WWE when his AEW contract expires in January 2024, but could the Endeavor era give the devil second thoughts? Speaking to the media in Long Island this week, MJF was asked about Endeavor and WWE's merger with AEW and said it won't change his goals for 2024, whatever they may be. He explained, "It's exciting, a rising tide lifts all ships. The more professional wrestling is in the media, the better, which is why as world champion, the best thing Tony Khan ever did was give me the opportunity to wrestle for the belt and beat that loser Jon Moxley so I can rise the ship that is All Elite Wrestling." Now AEW, when you talk about professional wrestling, you can't not talk about AEW, and you damn sure can't not talk about Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So I think both companies right now are white hot in my opinion. This is the belt. If you want to be at the pinnacle of our profession as a professional wrestler, this is the belt to win, this is the belt to hold, and I'm the guy to beat. If you're asking how often I think about money, often. That's the answer to the question. It's a battle of the Khans. We'll see who wins. What I will say right now, I'm very happy to be the face of my promotion. I'm very happy to be the biggest minute-for-minute draw on Wednesday nights by a freaking landslide. No offense to anybody else on the roster, it's just a fact. Tony Khan is very fortunate to have me, and I have a feeling he's going to do whatever it takes to keep it as such. MJF is a huge star in AEW and, as Cody Rhodes recently stated, has the potential to be a huge star in WWE. But what do you want to see the Salt of the Earth do next? Sound off in the comments. During the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match, Cameron made her return to WWE and had a brief reunion with Naomi, but WWE at one point had bigger plans than that. That's according to Cameron herself, who during Ring the Bell revealed that WWE contacted her and had plans for future appearances before receiving a text message 2 days later telling her all travel plans had been canceled. Cameron said that there were plans for her and Naomi to reunite as a tag team, and while Naomi did go on to be in a team with Sasha Banks, albeit one that wouldn't last long, it was originally Cameron who WWE had in mind. And we're ending today with Cody Rhodes, who is back in WWE, and this week went into details as to why he left in 2016. Speaking to Ariel Helwani, Rhodes said that when Charlotte Flair was meeting a fan, the Queen asked if the fan wanted to meet Stardust, but had no idea who Cody was given that he wasn't wearing the face paint or costume. Rhodes said that this fan solely knew him as Stardust and had no idea about legacy, being dashing, or his lengthy reign as Intercontinental Champion, and called it a rock-bottom moment for his WWE run. Now every wrestling fan tuning into WWE knows the name of Cody Rhodes, as the American Nightmare still plans on one day being called the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.